Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at some vintage Smith and Wesson revolvers, and I've showed each and every one of these at separate occasions and compared them to other things, but I'm going to talk about how these things can be improved from when they were built from the factory. Now, I'll start off by saying Smith & Wesson makes really good stuff. Their older vintage stuff, I'm not a real big fan of their newer stuff. I think they've cheapened them up a little bit and really gone against what Smith & Wesson really stood for in the past. And they've had their couple problems here and there, and one day we'll do a video on that also, some of the problems they had. But I just want to show these couple revolvers. What prompted me to do that is I got this one back yesterday from the gunsmith, and he improved that. So we'll start with that one. What I'll do, this is a 586 no dash Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. Now, my complaint with Smith & Wesson's always been they make quality stuff. They're good looking revolvers, but they never just seem to pay attention to detail where it counts. And when I say they don't pay attention to where it counts, I'm talking about in the action and lock work. Now, there's nothing wrong with their actions from the factory if you've never tried anything else. But if you try a higher end revolver that costs quite a bit more, or it's more customized and all that, you'd see the difference immediately. So this is impossible to show you on video, but I'm going to try my best to show you. This gun had a complete action work done to it, and I got it back yesterday. And when you pull this hammer back, it's ever so smooth how this thing works. And it did not work like this from the factory. It's just buttery smooth. And then when you pull it back and you just touch the trigger, it goes off. It's so crisp and everything. It's probably 2 pounds or less. I never measured it. Don't really care. I just know that it's perfect. Now, where all the money is, in my opinion, is the double action. If you watch, there's no stacking whatsoever. This thing just works so smooth going through, and it's lightened, it's smoothing. Now, what they do to these things is they replace some springs on the inside of them, and I'm not a gunsmith, and I do not know what springs or anything that they do, but they replace the springs inside of them. They modify some of the springs, and they polish and stone all the contact points inside these revolvers, and it makes a world of difference. I mean, I just cannot stress to you how smooth this revolver works. This feels like a $5,000 Korth revolver, and every one of these, I've had every one of them done. This is a 629 older one. This is a -3 629. This is called a Classic Hunter. It doesn't have the fluted cylinder. It's got a full underlug on it. Makes it, but same story with this one. It's just so smooth how it goes back. Extremely light single action pull, and the double action is just insane. It's just crazy how well these actions work. Same thing with this. This is what I call my maternal twin to the first one I showed you. This is a 686, which is a stainless version of the 586. This is a no dash also, and same story. So smooth how it pulls back, so crisp. Just these action works are so smooth that they've done. So if there's nothing wrong with Smith & Wessons when you buy them, very high quality stuff. They just can be, for minimum amounts of work with somebody that knows what they're doing, they can be improved to be so much better. If somebody is a Smith & Wesson person and really likes to shoot their stuff, and they compare one of these guns, any of them, it doesn't matter, to one that just came right out of the factory, it's not even close, and there's no way that they would choose otherwise. Something is only as good until you've tried something better, if that makes any sense. So if you've only ever driven a Yugo in your life, you may think that's the greatest car ever. But when you then step up to a Mercedes-Benz, the Yugo doesn't look so hot anymore. The Yugo, the cheapest car ever made. But these things are absolutely unbelievable. They're gorgeous revolvers, very collectible. I don't have them because of their collectible value. I have them because they're well made and I like shooting them. I have not fired this one yet since I got it back from him yesterday, but we will see how it works. But this guy has never disappointed me because these two turned out phenomenal. But anyway, folks, you can do it. They're just try one. If you own one of these older Smith and Wesson revolvers, consider having the action work done. The cost of it is less than if you went and bought a very expensive high-end custom-made revolver, such as a Korth or an older hand-fit Colt Python or something like that. These things can be hopped up to made work just as well. I mean, the lock work on them, when you do these, the lock work, it tightens up a lot. I mean, every single one of them. If you look right in between, there's no gap between the forcing cone and the cylinder. It's just, you got to have somebody that really pays attention to detail, and these things can be made. You can take an already awesome gun and make it more awesome, if that makes any sense to you. But very minimum work. They've all been done now. This was the last one to be done, and that one got done yesterday, and I cannot wait to take this thing to the range and give it a whirl and see how it shoots. Trigger pull, smooth trigger pull is the key to shooting a weapon well, especially a handgun. That's the main thing you need. And if you're trying to get tight groups or shoot a little bit further distance, I know handguns aren't really meant for long distance, but if you're trying to shoot long distance just for the fun of it, a good trigger is the key to anything. So that's why all these are done. They're all perfect. I couldn't be happier with the work that's done to them, and if anybody else ever tried them, they would want it done the same way. But anyway, folks, let me know what you think about having action works done. I know there's going to be people that think that altering older vintage weapons like this decreases the value of them, and if you've watched any of my channels before, you know I do not care about that. I don't care what any of these things are worth. I have them because I think they're awesome, and I think they all shoot well. Well, I'm going to say that this one shoots well. I'm going to make an assumption based on these two because I have not tried this one out yet. But let me know what you think about doing action works, older Smith & Wesson revolvers. If anybody's ever done one or had one done, let me know what you think or what you had done. And thank you very much for watching this video, and you folks have a great day.